It's the mic. Pull away from me.
Dude.
Pull it back.
Checklist, dude. We need a
Yeah.
checklist. Seriously. Okay. We're recording. We're recording. Like, dude, seriously.
We're good.
Anyways. All right. Welcome to episode 005. Down here at JBR Studios. Just JBR everything, the JBR experience. Um, got a lovely guest today, Miss Taylor Schrodt. We go years back. It started from doing your guys' engagement photos, you and Aaron, to your wedding, to then maternity photos with little Miss Davy, my bestie.
Yeah.
Um,
She is all the time. Jeremy, we going to see Jeremy? We don't have pictures yet.
yeah. So it's and then now Dawson, and just watching your family grow over the years has been super awesome. Even though as much crap and shit Aaron talks
All the time. He's your number one supporter there. He'll never admit it, but he really is. Just on Facebook. He's like keyboard warrior.
Publicly, he bashes me, but it's all in good faith and good humor.
For sure.
So I'm super excited to have you on the show today. And one reason why I wanted to really have you on is one, to hear your story from start to finish. I mean, obviously you just finished your master's degree.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and you're really getting into, as a therapist and looking at venturing out on your own practice. As you know, I'm a huge mental health advocate. I struggled with it terribly. So there's a lot of people that know that I believe in that, and we'll always talk about it. So one, I just want to take a couple seconds, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And then we'll just kick it off.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, like you said, I'm Taylor Schrodt. I'm a wife and a mom to two wonderful girls. And I'm also a licensed mental health counselor. So
born and raised here, Moses.
Yep. Born and raised here. I moved away for a while. I just had to get out of here, and then it sucks you back in, right? That's what everybody says.
You always find your way back to Moses.
Yeah.
That's what they say, 100%.
Yeah.
But as you get older, it's a really cool place to raise a family.
Yeah, it really is.
So everyone wants to get out, and you get out and experience life, and you're like, well, Moses isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's really not. I love raising my girls here. Moses Lake brought me and my husband together, and then of course I've started my career here as well. So I've really liked it. Yeah.
So even outside of obviously being connected through, your family, with family photos and just getting close in that aspect, our families, because it's Jeff and Linda,
grandparents
have been intertwined with my family for a long time with the cabin, you know. So there's just, there's a lot of connections, that way. But so I just want to, I don't want to jump straight into just where you're at current day, but talk about maybe if you do want to get into a little bit of like your childhood, and if you've struggled with anything, this topic, of this episode could be really focused on mental health, and how it's going to get there. But did you ever experience any kind of trauma, childhood trauma, things that you could look back on and be like, this is why I'm where I'm at?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think anybody in the mental health field, I shouldn't generalize, but most people will say, yes, I've experienced trauma or some type of mental health, and that's what drove me to be in this field, right? I don't know anybody that I currently work with or have worked with in the last 9-10 years of being in mental health social service field that's like, oh, I've had no experience with mental health for sure. And so, yeah, I do remember being a kid. There wasn't like one event that I was like, oh, that was extremely traumatic as a child, right? I had a really good childhood. My parents loved me very much, loved my siblings. But I do remember just being very anxious all the time, very worried about my parents, like if they're going to be safe, and just my family in general, right? Like I remember laying in bed and just naming everybody that I absolutely loved, thinking that if I named them as I was falling asleep, they would be safe. So like weird things, right?
What age was that?
6, 7 is when I remember like the first time doing that.
Right.
It could have happened before and I just don't remember. But I just felt worried all the time. And I don't necessarily know, like, there wasn't one event that I was like, oh, this is going to make me worry all the time or make me really anxious. It's just something the more I started to learn about mental health, the more I was like, oh, that is interesting that I experienced that when I was younger.
I was gonna ask that, like, yeah, like now you, not to jump forward, but like now where you're at with the education, the studies you've done,
Mm-hmm.
to now look back on those events, does it like, I know why that happened?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's really what took me into mental health as well. Like,
Mm,
I kind of just became, I don't want to say obsessed, but like obsessed with learning and trying to figure out why I react the way that I do or behave the way that I do. Like, I became very focused on that. And not just myself, but people in my life as well.
right.
And that's what got me into mental health in the first place. Like, I just love learning about it, learning about human behavior, learning about why we respond the way that we respond. Why do we do the things that we do? And I really used myself as that starting point. And
Right.
then I just became more interested in other people and their stories and what they're experiencing. And I think that's why I like my job so much, is because I get to hear stories of people and I get to help them understand and learn why they do the things that they do.
Hmm. No, that's so currently you're doing like, you have clients
Hmm.
and like therapy sessions
Yeah.
and
So
like,
yeah, I'm at an agency. I've been at the same agency for, it'll be 3.5 years now. And then I also have my private practice on the side. So I'm part-time private practice as well. So
right.
that's newer. I've been doing that for, I really started like January, February of this year with that.
Mm,
And it's the same thing, right? I'm still providing therapy, the same therapy I've provided within the mental health field for the last, several years. But it's just my own business now. And
right.
so it's different, right? Because I'm learning business stuff too, and which is way out of my scope. Um,
It's a lot.
it is a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that just having my own time, right? My own schedule of like,
Mm,
granted, I'm limited now because of I'm also at an agency, but being able to do my own thing with my own business has
right.
been really cool to learn. And I think that I can be a lot more intentional in what I'm teaching my clients being on my own as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is there a certain type of therapy you're kind of really focused in on?
Hmm.
Um, because I know there's like when I went through my struggles, I
Hmm.
obviously had my therapist, Rob,
Hmm.
and we did a ton of therapy. I mean, I was in therapy for 3.5 years,
Yeah.
but then I also saw like a trauma therapist,
Hmm.
like EMDR,
Yeah.
different stuff. So are you focused in on a specific
Yeah.
field?
Yeah. So yes, there's different types of interventions, like EMDR is an intervention that we use.
Mm.
And so I am trained in EMDR. So
Oh,
I would say in my private practice, all of my clients right now, I'm doing some type of EMDR therapy with. EMDR is a big thing in the past few years. Like, people
mm,
have really liked it. They're like, this really works. And so I knew before I started my private practice that that was something I wanted to be trained in
mm.
because it works. I've done it personally as well with
It's
own
pretty,
trauma.
yeah, it's intense.
It is, yeah.
It's super intense.
Yeah, very. And it can make you really tired because your brain is processing so
Yeah.
much, for sure.
Well, one thing I learned with like EMDR sessions is like, because and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I feel like when you try to think back to like traumatic events in your life,
Hmm.
it's sometimes hard to remember
Yeah.
the fine details.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
because your brain like puts in a compartment and
Hmm.
like shuts it down.
Hmm.
Like, why is that a thing? Like,
Oh,
why does that?
absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of times, through EMDR, as you're processing, your brain is remembering things that you didn't maybe even remember at all, right? Like, as a
Mm,
child, maybe you remembered it a little bit, or even through the traumatic event, maybe it was there. But with EMDR, your brain can um, just get to a point where it's like, oh, this did happen, or maybe this didn't happen, but I think it happened. And the cool thing about EMDR is you don't necessarily have to know the full truth for your brain to process, right? Because it's like tapping into those feelings. How did you feel during that event? And that's what
mm,
you want to process more. So it's not necessarily like, oh, this is true or this is not true. We're not really super focused on that,
And it like
right?
taps into like your nerve, like your central nervous system,
Yes.
because your
Yeah.
body like stores that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm sure you remember this, but a lot of the big part about EMDR is like a therapist will ask you, like, where do you feel that in your body?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because your body's going to feel it. And if you experience something that's totally different, but it can also be considered traumatic to you, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have that same feeling or that same sensation or the same trigger, right? And to go back to your question with the brain, our brain will do anything it can to protect itself. So if
With that,
we
to not relive it.
Yes. And so our brain will we can dissociate. I dissociate a lot.
Yep.
And I learned that through doing my own therapy. I had no idea I did it. And then my therapist, about 4 sessions in, goes, "Yep, your brain gives you about 45 minutes to process." And I was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? She goes, "As soon as we hit the 4 sessions I did with her, 45 minutes on the dot, my brain was like, nope, you're done. Like, this is
It's
too
too
hard. We're
much.
exhausted. We're going to be done for today." And then I would start to dissociate after that.
So you would cap your sessions at 45
Yep,
minutes.
45 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah, and I
See,
saw her for like a year.
licensed therapist has a therapist.
Oh, absolutely. Jeremy, I have a therapist right now. I just saw
Yeah.
her like 2 weeks ago. Like,
Yeah. Well,
I,
a lot of people unpack their stuff onto you. I mean,
yeah,
that's a,
yeah.
I mean, and it's not, I don't want to say it's a burden, but it's like you are helping people through their stuff, their hard times, their traumatic things,
Mm-hmm.
but you do take on that. Like,
Yeah.
you feel it,
Mm-hmm.
so it's, I would venture to say that, yeah, having a therapist to unpack it and
Yeah, I think
process, or is it not so much that?
it's a little bit of both. I think when I started in mental health, I struggled with that a little bit more because you aren't taught the skills on how to handle people's stuff, right? You kind
Mm,
of learn that over time. And so I quickly learned that I needed to have the best self care I could possibly have, right? Like
right.
taking care of myself. What does that look like for me? So I had to learn that really fast. And I also had to say, okay, at the end of the day, I need to be firm in that I did all I could do to assist and help this person. And I need to be okay with that. Because the second I leave this room or this office or wherever I'm at, I need to be a wife and a mother to my children.
That's gotta be, I could, man, that's gotta be hard.
Yeah, it can be. Um,
I just know me, like, I'm such an emotionally, like, invested
yeah,
person.
yeah.
Like, that would be hard for me to, like,
To set boundaries, right?
yeah,
Like that, and that's what I have to do. I have to set boundaries. And I'm not sitting here saying like I'm perfect and I go home and everything's fine, right? I just know that I have really good self care and really good boundaries, like mental boundaries,
hmm,
physical boundaries. If I am to a point where I feel more irritated than usual or more, sad than usual, then I will just communicate to Aaron, my husband, right? Like,
right,
hey, I'm having a hard time. Like, I'm going to go drive and get a coffee if it's in the morning or, something
sure,
like that. Like, taking the time for myself, even if it's 5-10 minutes, or I'm going to go out into the garage and work out for a few minutes,
right,
or I'm going to go on a walk with my girls, or like I just need to be intentional with my time with my husband. Like I've just learned to be really intentional with those things. And
yeah,
that's why I picked the name for my business. It's Intentional Healing Therapies, right?
so
Like we
good,
have to be so intentional with our time, the way that we respond to people, because I want to be in this field for the long term. And I can't do that if I'm not trying to be my best self all the time.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, I need to be a good mom for my girls and a good wife to my husband.
yeah, that's so good. I remember my therapist, Rob, he would talk about that too.
Mm-hmm.
He had a therapist,
Yeah.
and he did 20 years in the army,
Mm-hmm.
and so, and his son was in the Navy, but so he talked about that too. He would say the same thing, setting boundaries,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And as I was graduating out of therapy, he would ask me, he's like, so where do we go from here? What boundaries do we set?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So man, that's like really good.
Yeah, it takes a long time to learn those things too, like, and a lot of
Oh,
practice, right? I still have
well,
to practice all the time. I'm like, hey, I'm getting triggered, I'm getting irritated, I'm overstimulated. What do I do in these moments? And I apologize all the time to really Aaron, right? He takes the brunt of it. He lives with me.
yeah,
um, but it's just about having open communication and being really in tune with your feelings and being willing honestly, to have those tough conversations when there is conflict in your life.
Right.
But it took me years to get there, years, and it's still not perfect.
And I think that's the biggest, like, I would say, quote unquote, disconnect that people think with therapy.
Hmm.
That, and because I did it, oh, yeah, I'm going for a few weeks. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, you try to be like, oh, I got this. I did that so many times
Yeah.
with my therapist. Like, I would cancel my sessions, be like, I'm fine.
Hmm.
And then, like, a week later, I'm not,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And so I think people really have to, like, understand that it's not an overnight thing. It's not a month. It's not, I mean, everyone's different,
Yeah.
but it does take time.
Yeah.
Like, it could take years,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, and it's even okay to be like, have a healthy check-in every once in a while.
Hmm.
You know, if you get to a point where you're doing good, you've learned the boundaries, you've, you know, the skill sets that you've taught your clients, if they've
Hmm.
incorporated them in a healthy way
Yeah.
once a month or whatever, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
um you know, that's, yeah.
I think too, I know for myself. So I started therapy. The first time I ever saw a therapist, I was 19. And I'm 30 now. So what, we have 11 years of when I started therapy in my personal life.
Jeez, you're so young.
I'm young now.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. My brain does not feel young, I will say that. I know for myself, I do not let myself go more than 6 months without seeing a therapist,
Why
because
is that?
that's just my rule. It's never a rule for other people. I never tell them go to therapy every 6 months, right? But I've learned that through seasons in my life, usually at 6 months, I need a refresher, or I need somebody that I can go to in a professional way, that I can talk to and I can dump my stuff on, and I can like relearn these skills that I already know and just do kind of refresher stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I don't want my personal life to be impacted. And so I've
Yeah.
probably had, if I had to guess, over the last 11 years, I've probably seen 10 different therapists. If I had to guess, maybe 8 to 10.
So talk about that, because that's a big thing too, I think, in the mental health space.
Mhm.
That I think what drives people away from going to therapy,
Mhm.
especially in the veteran space,
Mhm.
is connecting with the person.
Yeah. Yeah,
And they
and
think
that's
that
been,
if they don't connect with that one person,
yeah, no. I
it's
do
over.
have I do have things that I tell clients with that, right? Because I'm not going to connect with every single person that comes to see me. It
Right.
just doesn't happen. And so the conversation I have with people when they join therapy, or when they enroll in therapy, or do the intake, or whatever the process is like, is, and this is for any therapist, not just myself,
Mm-hmm.
try 3 sessions. If by the third session you're like, this is weird, I'm not super comfortable with you yet, I don't know if I'm going to get there, then go see a new therapist. Like,
Yeah.
if you are seeing a good therapist, they will tell you, like, I feel like this isn't working, or I feel like we're not connecting. Like, I want you to get help, and maybe it's not me. And
Which,
seeing
yeah.
the different therapists, the 8 to 10 that I've seen, there's only one therapist I felt like I didn't connect with. It's just seasons throughout my life. Like,
Right.
I did trauma therapy, and I saw her for like a year and a half. That takes longer typically.
Right.
There's been therapists that I've seen 8, 9 sessions, and I've been like, oh, this season is good, I feel like I'm good, and then stopped going, right? But those are conversations I'm having with the therapist as we're going through treatment. The therapist I have now, I've been seeing her since, let's see, Dawson's 9 months. I started seeing her when I was like not even halfway through my pregnancy, so
How is
what, a
she
year and a half.
How is she 9 months already?
I know.
Oh my
She's nine
God.
months old. I know, it's crazy. So yeah, I've been seeing her for about a year and a half. And
Yeah.
it's been different stuff. It's been like pregnancy, postpartum, those kind of things.
Postpartum's a big one.
Oh gosh,
That
Dawson
post
wrecked me postpartum.
postpartum, like, it's
Yeah.
so real.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's so real. And I,
Hmm.
like, shout out to all the moms out there, you
Yeah.
know, that go through that, because I swear,
Yeah.
as a husband, you know, and
Hmm.
a father, it is, if you're a husband and a father and you see, like, it's so hard to, like, because we can't comprehend that. Like, we don't know. We've never, and we never will.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that's a doozy.
Yeah. It's really challenging.
Do you have clients that come to you based on that?
I've had a couple more in like family therapy type stuff.
Right.
But my scope is not specifically postpartum. So if somebody wants to see me for that, of course I can help like with anxiety, those kind of underlying things.
Right.
But if somebody wants to come to me postpartum specifically, I usually refer them out because that's not necessarily my specialty. I
There's a
can
lot of
definitely help, but I want them to get somebody that's their scope and that's their
there's a lot of
focus.
changes in the woman's body and
Yes.
hormones and just
Yeah,
lots of stuff going on there. Do
absolutely.
you feel like as a so okay, so because you have your bachelor's and master's
Yeah, so I
or
have two bachelor's degrees.
two?
I just double majored because they were like, oh, you can take. So my majors that I got at in Central, I have a psychology degree and a social service degree,
Yeah.
and they kind of overlapped a little bit, so I didn't have to take as many. I think there was like 3 classes that overlapped, so I got to double major, and then my master's is in licensed clinical mental health counseling.
So as a with all that education,
Yeah.
is it do you ever find yourself like in your therapy sessions like you just jump right in, all right, cool, I'm ready. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, tell me. Like does it ever get to that point? Like
Like
because
they're ready.
you're just like a subject matter expert in the field, right? And then you're going to another therapist
Mm-hmm.
to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever find yourself like just because I guess what I'm trying to say is when you go to therapy, sometimes it's hard to like start and
Oh
open
yeah.
up
Yeah.
and unpack,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's like I struggled with that.
Yeah.
And there was times when I do therapy and my therapist would be he would always start every session out and be like, he'd take a deep breath. He's like, how are you?
Yeah.
And there'd be days I just cry.
Yeah.
And so do you
Yeah.
ever find yourself like, I'm ready to unpack, I'm ready to go, like I need this?
In my own therapy
Like
sessions?
when you go to when you go to
Oh,
your therapist,
yeah. I'm
you're like, I'm
always ready
not
though.
like
I think that goes personality though, like
okay,
personality based, right? I've always been pretty much an open book in my
fair,
in my personal life, right? Like I'm not an open book with my clients. Obviously, there's a professional level boundaries that you set.
right?
But I think in general, I am just a very open person and I'm not afraid to talk about hard things. And so, yeah, like I actually am starting EMDR with another therapist next week. And she called me last night to schedule. And I was like, yeah, I want to do EMDR. This one I want to focus on. And she didn't know I was a therapist. I try not to say I'm a
That's what I'm trying
therapist.
to get at.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I try not to say I'm a therapist because I have seen a therapist before and I felt like over time it kind of became this like I was kind of the therapist in this situation. And so I was able to like talk to her about it. We ended up working it out. It wasn't anything that was like her fault. I think it naturally just became that way.
Well, you're
Um
two experts in the field, right? Like
yeah.
I mean, I think it would
Yeah.
naturally
I mean,
evolve.
I just want to be the client,
Yeah.
right? When I'm seeing my
I'm not working.
therapist. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't want to be working right now. So like I want to cry. I want to be vulnerable. I want you to hold my stuff, right?
Hey, Jeremy, bring your camera. No, I don't
Yeah.
want to work.
Right? It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's
yeah,
not how this works. Like
yeah,
you're supposed to bring that with you.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that just because of my personality, I already know, like, I have the skills and I have the education to know a lot of things. So when I see a therapist, they're like, let's just do it because we don't have to work the last few weeks to teach you these skills or whatever. So it's very much like
You're ahead of the game,
yeah,
essentially.
like session one, we're
Right.
already trauma dumping because that's just what happens, right? Like
That's fair.
you don't have to do the work before to be able to handle
Right.
that trauma dump.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I've always was curious about that because it's
yeah,
like, um, in my field, like if I was to go book a family photo shoot with
yeah,
another photographer,
yeah,
right? That was the number one question. Well, who's going to photograph your wedding?
yeah,
Right. Well, who's your therapist?
yeah,
Like, so it's,
yeah,
yeah, that's interesting.
yeah.
Um, okay. What do you think, like, and just to kind of keep things rolling, but like, what's the most common thing that you see, like, in today's world that people are struggling with? Like, whether it be kind of a broad spectrum of various clients you've seen over the years, whether it be what you see in the world online, like as a therapist, you know.
Before you even finish that question, the first thing that came to mind was lack of communication skills. or the either the inability or the lack of desire to use healthy communication skills.
That's yeah.
Um, I think that kind of covers like everything that you just listed, right? Like social media, for example. It's easy to get on social media and type,
Mm-hmm.
type, 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 right?
Yep.
And that's, I would argue, like a lack of desire to, maybe not lack of desire, but a lack of wanting to be empathetic or sympathetic and just feeling like you can say whatever you want over a keyboard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, like, not using healthy communication skills, or a lot of times, like, I do a big passion of mine is couples therapy. So in couples therapy, I'm the first thing I'm trying to look at is like, what is their communication like? Typically, when you have a couple, one will be very like, I want to fix things right then and there, and the other one is like, no, I need time to
So
process.
okay, yeah. So how do you, when you say healthy communication skills? Because
Mm.
let's be honest, everyone's like, well, I want an effective communicator.
Yeah,
I want someone that could communicate.
yeah.
So what is that?
Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
That's hard because it looks different for everybody.
Right.
Um, there's different personalities, there's different way of handling things. People handle things differently because of their experiences, right?
Right.
So we want to validate their experiences and teach them skills on how to maybe approach somebody differently
Mm.
or approach a difficult conversation differently. So I think, for like, as an example, couples therapy is kind of the easiest thing to go to. So
Right.
if we have a husband who, again, I'm generalizing just to give examples,
Yeah.
but if we have a husband who really struggles to communicate and keeps everything in, right?
Which is so common.
Yeah, very common. And then we have a wife who is very, what he would refer to as emotional, like likes to talk about things but can't really find the words to express how she's feeling, or feel like she can't express how she's feeling. We're looking at communication on both sides. Like, why are you afraid of expressing how you're feeling? Why are you not opening up at all? Like, where did this come from?
Right. Because then I think from a man's side, because that was me
Yeah.
for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I could probably, a lot of men could relate to this, but I think us guys don't open up for a couple reasons. And one of the main reasons is we are like, what is it going to turn into? Is it going to turn into a fight? Is it going to turn into judgment?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, if I really say how I feel, which sometimes could be dark, could be
Yeah.
very raw,
Yeah.
is that going to be held over my head later?
Use it as like a tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
in today's society, like with marriages and stuff like that, and divorce proceedings and all of this stuff,
Yeah.
typically is what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that I think it's a little bit of a fear.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is a lot of fear in communication.
It's because it's hard.
Communication is very hard. That's
It's
why
fucking
people struggle with it so much. Yeah.
yeah. I was having that kind of conversation with Cameron last night.
Yeah.
Like she's 10.
Yeah.
Like because she doesn't want. I mean, she's 10.
Yeah.
But
Being 10 is hard. Being a kid is hard.
yeah, so hard.
It is.
Yes, but it's like she doesn't understand that you need to have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but they need to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's okay. So that's the big like. So how do you essentially? I mean, I get it. Everyone's different,
Mm-hmm.
but if you were to generalize it,
Mm-hmm.
what are some things you give couples to like try out or work on,
Mm-hmm.
or and it's probably a lot of trial and error.
Oh,
Try
absolutely.
this.
Yeah.
How'd that work?
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. I think a lot, this is just my style as a therapist.
mm,
The thing that I realized that I do the last few years, I'm very strength based. The program that I work in is all about being strength based, right? Like, let's find your strengths, what's going well. You could give me anything and I'll find a strength in it. But I feel like that goes a long way, especially in couples counseling or family therapy or in individual, right? Like, if you can highlight something that went well, you can take off with that, right? It goes to that mindset. Like, do we have a positive
yeah,
mindset? How are we starting our day? Yes, you may have done this, but you also did this, right?
yeah,
Um, so a lot of strength based. And a lot of
Because it's so easy to focus on the negative.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's also draining, right? Like it's easy to do and it's very draining.
Yeah.
So we want to acknowledge that those things happen because we don't want to take anything away from people, right? We don't want to invalidate somebody.
Yeah.
Like we want to validate them and like, yes, that's hard. And we also experience this, which is a positive.
Right.
And then I also know that my approach is to teach people. Going back to that, what I was talking about, like kind of this obsession over how do I, like, I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? I want to learn while I'm doing this. So I really do believe that the more that I can teach people skills or teach people how to communicate or teach people how to be sympathetic or teach these skills that they can use in their everyday life and be strength based, I feel like that's where I see the most progress within my clients.
Do you feel like clients, like some people are, it's hard for people to talk about their strengths or
Oh,
talk
yeah.
or bring them out
Mm-hmm.
because people are so quick to be like, well, I suck
Yeah,
at this.
absolutely.
Like, oh, I know I do this,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
it's
It is
like pulling
very
teeth.
hard. I think the coolest thing that I get to experience because I tell my clients, I cannot wave a magic wand and fix your problems, right?
Yeah.
I am doing really no work aside from teaching my clients things. And I'm not saying that to like devalue the work of a therapist, but really the work is up to the client and what they want to put in,
Yeah.
right? If my client's not putting anything in, they're not going to see results. They see me once a week for 50, 55 minutes. They have a whole lot of other minutes outside of me that they have stuff to work
That's
on.
so true. Yeah.
And I remind my clients of that because eventually, if there's not any work outside a session, why are we doing therapy? You know, like it's up to them. I am very good at putting it back on my client because it's going to help them the most, right?
Right.
Um, but I think just reminding clients of that as I'm seeing them, knowing that it's their resilience, their ability to take power over their life, their ability to make these changes. I can teach them and I can do the best I can to, you know, be their cheerleader, like really highlight their strengths.
Mm.
Um, but it's really up to them and what they want to do. And as soon as a client can come to me and the first thing that they say is, "Oh my gosh, I was so excited to tell you," or "I noticed this about myself," or "This happened and it was so cool." That just like that really sits with me
Yeah.
because I'm like, this person, when I saw them 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, a year ago, however long it takes them, they're discovering their ability to be resilient. And that's powerful to me.
That's so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I was in therapy for 3.5 years
Mm-hmm.
and I never thought I was going to graduate.
Yeah.
And I remember my therapist, like that very last session
Mm-hmm.
of like, and he's like, hey man, like, I think it's time.
Oh, did that just crush you?
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Like, because we ended it one week and he was like, hey, we like, next week, I think, we need to have the talk
Mm.
about like graduating.
Mm-hmm.
And like leading up to that, I was like almost dreading that session,
Yeah.
which was weird
Yeah.
because I think like when you really connect with your therapist and it becomes a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
It
Absolutely.
becomes a space where you know that is a constant, that you know that you're not judged, like all of the things
Mm-hmm.
are there.
Yeah.
And so and then going into that very last session, like it was just like, well, you know, where do we go from here? Like, I guess
Yeah.
and so, yeah, it's a weird feeling to kind of get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people struggle and go through all those things,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really have that insight. Like, or you
Yeah.
think about it, you're like, this is never gonna work. This is
Mm-hmm.
never gonna get better. Like, how am I even gonna get through all of this stuff?
Yeah.
You know? So do you ever experience people with that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
kind of a lot of, you know, back pedals or like, that's what I think that's a big message I would like people to know about mental health is you're gonna have bad days.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter how good a therapy session is,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how good you're doing
Yeah.
for a week, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you're going to have a quote unquote relapse
Mm-hmm.
and a misjudgment.
Yeah. And you have to learn how to give yourself grace, right? And
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily have to be bad days. Maybe there were bad days where all 24 hours was awful, but we can have bad moments, right?
Mm,
And we can learn to acknowledge that bad moment. This was not my best self. I hate that I just did this. Maybe your younger version of yourself was coming out, and I'm going to work through that bad moment and I'm going to finish the rest of my day off strong. But until you can learn to give yourself grace, you're really going to struggle with that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, okay, so as a man, I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the big things that men do, because I did it terribly,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I probably catch myself doing it sometimes now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you are, you're married, you're in a relationship, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You guys get into an argument, and it escalates and escalates and escalates, and you end up finding yourself saying something out of anger,
Mm-hmm.
out of reaction
Yeah.
that you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You end up going to bed mad,
Yeah.
which is horrible. And you wake up, I think as a man,
Yeah.
we use that going to bed
Mm-hmm.
as, well, tomorrow's a new day. Everything's fine.
I'm going to reset.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And you act like everything's fine. And then you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then typically
Mm-hmm.
the woman is left in shambles,
Mm-hmm.
processing it
Mm-hmm.
because women and men are completely different.
Yeah.
Us men, we could get over things.
Oh, yeah. You could literally fight somebody right here and right now in 5 minutes, be best friends with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When women are very emotional creatures,
Yeah.
they hold on to things. Things stick with y'all
Yeah.
way harder.
Absolutely.
So in that instance,
Mm-hmm.
it's the next day.
Yeah.
The man's getting ready for work. Okay, I love you, babe.
Yeah.
Kisses goodbye, and the woman's just like in shambles.
Like, what are we doing here?
Like how? So like, if you have you ever experienced couples that bring that to the table?
Oh, yeah. And
So
yeah,
what?
and I've experienced that in my own life as well.
So how do you?
So I feel like you read everywhere or you hear like, don't go to bed mad.
It's the
Please,
most common.
but please go to bed mad. Please. The reason I say that is because when we're already pissed and we're seeing red and we're trying to reconcile before we go to sleep, you're not getting anywhere. You're getting more mad, right? I'm not telling you to go to bed hating your spouse and not looking at them or turning towards them in bed or kissing goodnight, right? But we do not have to have everything reconciled before we close our eyes. I get people's
That's okay.
I get people's perspective of like, what if something happens at night and they pass away and you don't like, I get those perspectives.
Right.
Absolutely.
You're saying like kind of half mend it.
Yes.
Don't unpack it all.
Yes, because
Okay.
you're not going to be your best self in that moment. You need time, right? If it's 6 o'clock at night and you don't go to bed till 10, 11, then maybe you would have time to hash it out. But if you're getting into bed and something's triggered and y'all are fighting, screaming at each other, just take a break.
Hey, I love you.
Yes, I love you, and this is a lot, and I'm closing my eyes. I'm going to
But
sleep.
honestly, that doesn't happen. It doesn't
Okay.
happen. Like I would just say, I say it from my experience because oh God, 3, 4, and even when with my previous marriage, like I was so bad at that.
Yeah.
So fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like now I realize it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
After going through all the therapy and learning the coping mechanisms and learning how to communicate and talk about my feelings.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the most emotional men on the face of the planet now.
Which is not a bad thing.
I cry at weddings like that I've photographed.
It's your healing.
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like you say that, right? And it's easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a lot of things in therapy.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Mm-hmm. I say that probably at least once a session to my clients.
But it's so true. It's cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
So what would be, so you're essentially like, you would tell a couple, hey, don't unpack it all, but understand that later you have to.
Yes. In general, yes, I would say that. It depends on how far the couple or the individual or whoever I'm working with is in with their mental health journey and with their healing journey, right?
Mhm.
So, like you, as an example, you did therapy for 3.5 years. You made a lot of life changes. You're
Mhm.
in a what I would refer to as a healthy marriage. You have your kiddos, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're a healthy dad, right? For you, I would probably challenge you. All right, Jeremy, there are things that you can reconcile before you go to sleep with your wife at night, right?
Right.
So talk about it in a healthy way. If this was somebody who has never had therapy before, who is coming to me like our marriage is in shambles, we're about to get a divorce, this is our last shot, it's going to look a lot different, right?
That's fair.
To me, I would just say, because we probably haven't learned how to de-escalate, we probably haven't learned how to implement any effective healthy communication skills, just close your eyes and go to sleep.
Yeah.
When we're tired, we can't think, right?
Very true.
We literally have to sleep for our brains. I tell my daughter this. She's Davy. She's almost 4, right? I tell her this every night. She's like, I don't want to go to sleep. Why do we have to go to sleep? Because the gardener comes and trims our brains, right? That's how I explain it to her, right? Like our neurons have to be trimmed at night. That's why we have to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get misfires in our brain. It's going to go to shit. So if we can get sleep and we can wait it out until the next day where we're
Mm.
clear minded, we're maybe not going to get as triggered as much, then we can hash it out.
Yeah. No, I guess that's like the first time I've heard that
Yeah.
because, you know, when you're at weddings and grandparents and parents are number one piece of advice, never go to bed mad.
Yeah.
Never go to bed mad.
It's good. I get the point, right? Like I
Right.
get the
Go to
what
bed
if
go to
something
bed
happened?
semi mad.
Yeah, like go to bed halfway. On your scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most mad you've ever been, go to bed at a 5, right? Like it's just if you can sit there and say this is not getting any better, we've tried, let's just go to sleep and figure it out tomorrow.
You know what's interesting about that like reminds me is like because my wife and I, Katie and I,
Yeah. She's great.
she is the best,
Yeah.
the best,
Yeah.
and she calls me on my bullshit, you know, which
Wow. Good for
she
her.
does. Oh, it's not often because I'm good, you know.
Yeah, you're perfect. Why does she
Yeah,
call you out?
totally. But like we have our tiffs, but at the same time, you know
Absolutely.
what we've never like not done is like we have say if we have a little tiff on the phone and
Yeah.
it's in a very minute
Yeah.
and it's like okay babe I love you, it's always ends
Oh yeah.
like so I feel like if you can I don't want to say force
Mm-hmm.
but if you can always come to the staple of like okay we're not getting along right now but I love you and then kiss
Yeah.
or like have that form of affection,
Mm-hmm.
honestly it's like it makes you want to reconcile, it
Yeah.
makes you want to like okay
Yeah,
you
because you
know
have that underlying desire to continue your marriage and your relationship with
right
this person. So even though you're pissed off, both of you probably are annoyed with each other, it's still like, if we took this away right now, this tiff that we had, I still love you. I still want to work on my marriage with you.
yeah
So like as dumb as this is, like Aaron and I have our tiffs too, right? It's usually me being overwhelmed, overstimulated, tired, right? Like go to bed mad.
right
And I make some comment that I'm like, "Ugh, that was crappy." And it's not like I'm degrading him or anything. It's just like I kind of just snap. Like things are loud and I say I can't even think of an example, but they happen. I'm
yeah
not saying I can't think of an example because they don't happen. I just can't think of one right now.
right
And then it's me like, "Ugh," and I just need a few minutes. I'm gonna clean. That's my coping skill. Is I whenever he sees me mad dashing around the house cleaning, he's like, all right, I need to give her a minute.
I'm gonna grab the girls and go outside.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna be in the
Yeah,
shop.
yeah,
um, but
yeah.
then it's having that follow-up conversation
Right.
of this is what I did. I felt this way. And then you just talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Which is I've had a lot of practice. I've had relationships that were very toxic, very unhealthy, and didn't I couldn't do that. I didn't have those skills to do that. And
Mm.
so I would be triggered, I would lose my mind, I would scream, yell, do all of the things that are totally out of character for me now, but my younger self, that was my norm.
You got
Um
used to the chaos.
absolutely. And when I dated somebody where I didn't have any chaos,
You're like, this isn't normal.
no, and I hated it. I self-sabotaged all the time
God,
because
that is
that was not my norm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird. Like I went from a very toxic relationship, both of us, right? Like both of us very
Yeah.
toxic. A lot going on. We were very young as well. Our brains were not even developed. We're trying to live this adult life when we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I get into a healthy relationship where this man does have the communication skills. He doesn't have the trauma. He doesn't have these experiences that I had. And it was like a shock to me. Like, what are we doing? And so I would create chaos. I would create fights. I would create arguments.
So
And
so in your studies, does that come up? Is that a person thing? Is that a brain thing? Or has that just never been studied? Because that is so true. Like
mhm.
they always say, the hardest relationship is the healthy one after a toxic one.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily know the studies on it. I think from the people that I've treated in my personal experience, it's everything, right? It's our experience, it's our inability to feel valued when this person is valuing you. It's a hard word for me today. It's our inability to accept good because we've only experienced bad. So I think it just has to do with experience and the brain, again, trying to protect itself. I had a
Like this is like
therapist.
too good to be true.
Yeah, like when is the shoe gonna drop?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm waiting for. Oh, it's not. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna create it then, because then I have control. Because I'm
Oof.
creating this toxicity, so now I
Oh,
have
ho,
control.
ho, ho. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was
That's
for me,
yeah. Because
and
then if you
it
lose
took me a long time to learn that.
I struggled with control too.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. So
Yeah.
because like when you have a yeah, I don't even know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lose your sense of control, people are then controlling you.
Mm-hmm. Or they're making decisions that you have no say in. So, like my first toxic relationship, I'm going to be very mindful. But there was a lot of like sneaking around, running away, couldn't find him for days.
Mm,
And that created so much chaos and anxiety in myself. And I
mm.
felt very unstable for a long time. And so once I was able to realize like this is not for me, this is not something I can do anymore, and I was able to walk away from that, my first healthy relationship, I was like, he's doing the exact opposite. My brain doesn't know how to respond in these
Just never experienced it.
situations. Yeah, no, like it was weird for me.
Yeah.
Um, and I had a therapist at the time. I wish I could see her the rest of my life. She was amazing. I did trauma therapy with her, and I'll never forget it. I was already in my master's program, and she goes, "Have you heard of trauma mastery before? Have you heard of that before?"
Mm-mm.
I had never. I was early 20s when she brought this up. And I was like, no. And she goes, okay, I'm going to give you research on it, an article. I want you to read it. And then she's like, then I just want you to dive deep and read about it. And I was
It's
fascinated.
a thing.
Yes, I was absolutely
Like you're a
fascinated.
master at trauma.
Yes.
If
And
some
what you do is it goes back to what we were just talking about is you experience these things differently. You intentionally put yourself in a situation that's similar to past trauma so you gain control of the situation.
like repeating.
Yes, but then you have control so you feel like you're going to heal.
What the?
And it was fascinating. Like you should do more research on it after this. Like it is I've had a handful of clients that I've been able to identify trauma mastery with them and like helped educate them on it and helped them with those things. But I feel like it's something that is so specific to people. Um, I guess if we use a relationships as an example, right? So toxic relationship getting into one that's not so toxic or healthy for you, you're like, okay, this happened to me in the past. My brain, my heart are hurt. So now I'm going to create the same scenario in this relationship,
But I'm creating
but
it.
I'm creating it and I'm controlling the outcome.
Whoa.
And you're doing that and you don't even know that you're doing that.
I fucking
It's wild.
whoa.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah. You could probably pick 5 different times that you've done that in your life, at
Yeah.
least.
Jeez. I
Yeah.
didn't. Whoa. Because it's yeah, the relationship that I was in before I met Katie
Mm-hmm.
was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. I remember a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. like brought out the worst
Mm-hmm.
in me, that like
Yeah.
side of me that I didn't even know existed.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I even attempt to take my own life. I mean, like,
Yeah. Heavy stuff for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And God, that's crazy.
It's crazy what our brains will do to overcome things. And like you make yourself the master or the
Trauma mastery.
overcomer. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's wild. Now you're gonna go home
That
and
makes me, that
spiral and
makes
read
like,
all about it.
that makes all the past like years makes
Mhm.
so much sense.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
It's
Oh my
fascinating.
goodness. Um, yeah, mind blown. I've never heard of that. And that's,
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of people that could probably relate to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
With
I think there's a lot more people that do it
when
than
you,
not. People who have experienced trauma.
because
Yeah.
I mean, as humans, we want to be in control.
Oh,
You want to
absolutely.
control a situation.
Yeah.
I struggle with that tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Was like control, control. I like my therapist and I always tried to work on that.
Yeah.
You know, I was always like through my divorce proceedings, I was never in control.
Yeah.
So I was reacting
Mm-hmm.
to try to gain control.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to I
Master
was
it.
yeah, I was trying to create trauma and drama and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
So that you could overcome it, you could control it, you could decide the
But it
outcome.
literally like made me fall on my face.
Yeah.
Got
Oh yeah,
arrested. Got
it
like
doesn't lead you anywhere good. That's for sure.
those, you know, those 15 months of all those proceedings was
Mm-hmm.
all my fault.
Mm.
All of it.
Yeah.
I've said that so many times.
Yeah.
And it was like, I look back now, I'm like, now that you even say that, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was trying to create scenarios so I could be in control because I felt like I was losing everything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My house, my kids,
Yeah.
my money, my belongings.
Mm-hmm.
I was had no control over anything that was happening.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Therapy session.
Educating,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
No, and that's the thing. That's why I enjoy my career so much. It's fascinating. Humans are fascinating. I've treated some people who have done some pretty not so good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it is very hard to hear somebody's story and not have sympathy for them, even with the really shitty stuff that they did. Um, I think it's just a hard journey for some people. And I'm not saying that to excuse the behaviors, right? Absolutely not. We're not going to do that. But I think once you get to know people and know their story and know why they did what they did in any given situation, you're going to have sympathy or you're going to have empathy, whatever that looks like.
And that's hard for some people though,
Oh, it's hard for most people.
you know.
Yeah.
I want to bring up a topic
Mm-hmm.
that I did some research on because I felt like I was experiencing it tremendously
Mm-hmm.
when I was going through all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this may not be the right term, but have you ever, in your experience, like reactive abuse? Or is there anything that's similar to that?
Reactive abuse, like you were reacting and abusing,
Like,
or what do you mean by that?
like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the analogy of like you keep poking the bear,
Mm-hmm.
eventually the bear is gonna react.
Yeah.
So what I found myself, you know, and I didn't know that this was happening in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but I kept getting poked and poked
Mm-hmm.
and provoked, and then I would react
Mm-hmm.
to what you were doing to me.
Yeah.
Oh, see, look, he's crazy,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so because again, and maybe it's because of that trauma mastery thing, but it was like in that time of my life, I was, like I said, I was losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would react to all of it.
Yeah.
Of trying to, but my reactions were not good.
Yeah.
So can you shed some light on that as far as like, because I don't even know if I have the TikTok still saved. And I say TikTok because whatever, but there's a lot of stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, there is.
But like like an emotional abusive relationship, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Right? You can, like, there's a, like, you're being emotionally abused
Mm-hmm.
But then when I say reaction abuse is you react to that abuse with more emotional abuse to the person you're receiving it from,
Okay.
essentially, right? Like,
So you're kind of just like trying to level each other up with how much we can emotionally abuse each other or show that those reactions.
yeah, like, you know, someone comes up and just and belittles you or does whatever, like your instinct is to fight back.
Yeah.
In most people,
Yeah.
like you're gonna throw shade. Okay, cool. I'm gonna match your energy. I'm gonna throw shade.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and I think that's where a lot of potential relationship like issues lie.
Mm-hmm.
Is one, said person's delivery sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out condescending. It comes out negative. It comes out like, you know, like you had mentioned, I'm overstimulated and I just
Yeah.
and just comes out
Yeah.
because it's like in that moment it's just
It's
woof,
just too much. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then some people, most us men,
Mm-hmm.
this is just a common scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we'll react with the
Yeah.
same energy,
Yeah. And it looks different.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, what would you advice or like coping mechanisms or tactics or tools could you give? I would say men.
Yeah.
Let's go with men because
Yeah.
I know for a fact us guys do this shit
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. I think there's a lot. So there's a lot to that, but what first came to mind is
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
no, this is fine. I just want to make sure I'm getting my words right. So in that situation, what I would think of is the person that's trying to poke the bear, right? To use your analogy.
Yeah.
They are trying to prove a point. They're trying to prove if they've been calling you a monster or they've been calling you the shitty person, whatever kind of language they're using, they're trying to prove to other people that you are that.
Okay.
Is where my mind went when you said that.
Yeah.
So like we need to explore that. Why do you feel like you have to prove to people that this person is a monster or shitty or whatever you want them to think?
Mm.
And then the person that they're antagonizing, right, or poking, to that person, it's you can't control what the other person's going to do or say. So how do you regulate yourself in those moments, even when it
Oh,
feels impossible?
God.
So emotional regulation, just fancy terms for sometimes I get very caught up in the clinical jargon is what I call it, but like fancy terms for can we calm ourselves when we need to calm ourselves? You cannot do that 100% of the time. So like the overstimulation when it just comes out, right?
Mm.
I cannot control myself or regulate. I shouldn't say control. I can control myself. I cannot regulate my emotions 1,000%, 100% of the time
Right.
because I'm a human.
Yeah.
That's to say that I have all the skills to do that. Sometimes my brain is just telling me we're not going to think about the skills. We're just going to react right now. And the consequences to that depends on how you react. So if I say something that was uncalled for, or I say something that was mean to somebody, that's going to be a smaller consequence because I can apologize, say, I should have done this better, right? But if I'm doing that all the time, that's a different story. But if I make a decision or I have a behavior that is a bigger consequence, that's going to look a lot different. And
Yeah.
so if we have a situation like the scenario that you got or that you gave, it's exploring both sides. Why do you feel the need to poke the bear and how are you responding when you're being poked?
Yeah.
Because in both scenarios, the person that's poking can control only themselves and the person that's being poked can control only themselves.
And that's so hard to like accept sometimes
Oh yeah.
because
Easier said than done, right? Let's go
yeah,
back to
oh
that
my
phrase.
God. It's
Yeah.
so hard because we want as humans we want to be in control.
Yeah.
And that was yeah, I can't control what that person does, says,
Mhm.
but my therapist always talked about the way it makes you feel,
Mhm.
you know, our emotions,
Mhm.
the way we react like and move forward,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I've always believed in there's a big difference between reaction and response.
Mm.
Like, have you ever heard that?
Yeah, so a lot of times, like, because I work with teens as well and littles, but with my teens, I do a lot of that work of like reacting versus responding.
There's
A
a big
lot of that.
difference.
Yeah. Oh,
There's a
100%.
big difference.
Yeah,
I think
huge.
reaction is emotion based,
Yes.
and it is very spur of the moment, how you're feeling, usually masked with some sort of anger or defensiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But responding is like, I think, the other side of therapy,
Mm-hmm. The
like
healing
the
part.
healed side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you process it,
Yeah.
you dissect it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you respond like without the anger, without the,
Yes.
the heightened emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more of the logic, like the logical side
Yeah.
of the brain.
Yeah. When your brain is calm and you can be logical,
Yeah.
right? And it takes time to learn how to get there and how to respond instead of react.
Yeah.
But that's used every day. This happened today. I have a friend. Um, we had some conflict. We knew we needed to have the conversation. And to approach the conversation, I started because she needs more time, right, to process. I'm a very much like, I'm feeling anxious. I want to talk about it right now.
Mm.
So I gave her the time. Um, and I approached the conversation. I said, "Are you ready to talk about this?" And she wasn't sure. We had the conversation. It went very well. A lot of vulnerability, a lot of crying because we
Mm-hmm.
really care about each other.
Yep.
Um, and it turned out great, right? But we both have the communication skills to mend something like that. And if you don't have those skills on both sides, it doesn't go that well. And that's why I really, even before I became a therapist, I loved doing therapy and I was so passionate about it
Mm.
because it is so helpful. Like when I see people in my family that are really, really struggling, and I'm sure I'm so annoying because I ask people like, do you want to go to therapy? Like, have you thought of seeing therapy? I don't push it on them. I just want to make sure that conversation is had
Mm-hmm.
because I just know how it can transform your life. And again, it has nothing to do with your therapist. Like, yes, it does in the connections and what they teach you. It has everything to do with yourself as an individual. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm so passionate about therapy because it is so valuable. And
Yeah.
I want everybody to have good skills that they can use in their everyday life. And that's what therapy is learning those things.
Yeah. Dang. That's almost a good closing note. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's leave it on that good note. I mean, that's so much good insight, to be honest. Like the trauma mastery, that's going to sit with me.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I like when she explained that to me. I mean, this was like 7 years ago now. I was mind blown.
7 years ago and you're still holding on to it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Geez,
absolutely.
wow. I think a lot of people can relate to that,
Mm-hmm.
in that aspect because it's way more common than I think we want to admit,
Yeah.
you know. Um yeah, well, we've been going for over an hour
Wow, that
already.
was fast. It's been like 20 minutes, if
Yeah.
that.
So,
Oh my gosh. Before, though, guess what you were doing 4 years ago today?
your guys' wedding
Our wedding 4 years ago.
today, to
Today.
the day.
Today.
What a perfect time to do an episode.
115 degrees outside. Here you are,
Yeah.
being a trooper. Aaron
Gosh.
and I are going to watch our wedding video tonight. We do it every year on our anniversary.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. four
love
years
that.
ago.
See, I totally. Sometimes I totally forget. Like, gosh, man, when I was like back then, when I was just really starting my
Mm-hmm.
business.
Yeah.
I had my business license for a little bit, but
But you're
uh,
just really getting into it.
yeah.
Like you had done our engagement pictures. Actually, when I listened to your podcasts, um, the one where I think it was you and Alec when you were talking about your suicidal thoughts and trying to take your own life and all that,
Mm,
I realized that you had taken our engagement pictures a week after that.
yeah.
And I had no idea. Like somebody who was in this field, and that's my expertise, I had no idea that you were struggling that much.
Yeah.
That hit me hard.
I got really, really good at wearing the mask.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, And I learned that from a really young age, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like when I was 10, 11, when my parents split when I was 10,
Mhm.
it was really, really bad.
Mhm.
And I stayed with my dad. My mom moved away out of state with my sister.
Mhm.
Um, and my dad was not an emotional guy
Yeah.
growing up. And so I didn't have anyone to talk to.
Yeah.
And I just masked it all and I pushed it down. That's where that whole thing of like, I struggled with, well, if we're going to argue, going to fight, if I just go to bed, it never happened.
Yeah. We're gonna brush it under the rug.
Yep. It never happened. And I would
Yeah.
get, and it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, there was a lot of people like when I was going through that stuff. Yeah, because it was like 5 days after my dad passed as the gun incident that I had.
Mhm.
But then February 10th
Mhm.
was the night that I swallowed all those pills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was hospitalized for a week, and then I came
So it
home.
was like right when you got out then that you did our engagement photos.
Was it?
Yeah, because the only reason that I remember that is because we had just found out we were pregnant with Davy the week that you took our engagement photos. And it was end of February.
I thought it was for some reason. I thought it was like later in spring or something.
No, you did our pictures in February
Yeah, because we
because
were
we
out.
got married in July
Yeah, because we were out. We did your engagement photos out
at the venue.
at the venue.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't know any
Oh
of that
yeah.
stuff.
And I mean, we weren't like we didn't have I mean like it was a very professional like you're a photographer those kind of
Yeah,
things.
we weren't as close as we are
But
now.
still, yeah, like I still would have had no idea. So like when you gave that date, like I was like that is like that really hit for me.
Why?
Like that's wild. Like you had just come to our house to like talk about I mean that was a few months before, right? But like you were in this season of your life and I mean Aaron had no idea. I had
I
no
I felt
idea.
like I had no choice
Yeah.
but to mask it all
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, the being behind my camera and my business was the only thing I could control.
Mhm.
The only thing that was mine
Yeah.
and only mine.
Yeah.
After everything was getting stripped from me,
Mhm.
you know, the kids, the money,
Mhm.
the house. I'd just gotten out of the Marine Corps,
Yeah.
so the loss of identity there,
Oh, absolutely.
all of
Yeah.
those things that were happening.
Mhm.
The camera was the only thing
Yeah.
that was truly mine.
And how
So
cool of that in that time, as rough it was and so hard, I could only imagine you still have that one thing today that's so good for you.
yeah,
Like that's awesome.
that'll make me cry.
I'll cry with you.
Yeah, it's been a saving grace, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, so, jeez, jeez.
Well, thanks for having me on. This was
Yeah,
fun.
that was so good, so
Yeah.
good. So many insightful things. I think a lot of real world common things
Yeah.
that people are struggling with, whether
Mhm.
it be in a relationship, whether it be with themselves.
Yeah.
So it's always, after my episode, and really almost even after we first launched this, like I knew I wanted you on
Yeah.
an episode to give those kinds of insights and
Mhm.
really to drive home, like, go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's fucking okay.
It is. It is so okay. Like that stigma, I do feel like I'm very grateful because over time, I think that stigma is lessening, right?
It is.
Most people will be like, oh, I'm in therapy. Before it was like, nope, I am
Mm-hmm.
not saying a word about being in therapy. So I feel like the more time goes on, the more people are willing to share that they're in therapy or share like, oh, I saw this therapist, maybe they'd be a good fit for you.
Right.
Those kind of things. But
Yeah, that
very thankful that that's happening.
it's definitely shifting. You could tell
Oh, 100%.
for sure.
Yeah.
And even in the men's mental health space,
Mm-hmm.
it is gaining traction for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a definitely good thing. So, well, that's episode 005 with Miss
Here
Taylor
we
Schrodt.
are.
Can't thank you enough for coming out.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And until next time,
Yeah.
we'll tune into next week's episode. So,
Cool.
all
Thanks,
right.
Jeremy.
Thank you.